everyone, I'm Mind, and I have a very exciting video to share with you all today. Because a couple months ago, I got to visit Denmark and go to LEGO's headquarters as a part of RLFM Days, which is an event where they invite a bunch of fan media over and we get to talk to designers, see LEGO sets. It's a super fun experience. But of course, the part that I was most excited for was seeing the new Ninjago sets, and luckily they had a whole presentation about them. Now, as of the time of me recording this video, official images aren't actually out yet, so these images I have, I got to see these in hand, I got to play with them, but I haven't seen what LEGO's official images look like yet, which is kind of funny. But I assume my video on their reveal is going to come out before this video, so if my video on that's already out by the time this comes out, I'll put a card in the top right corner. Anyway, this video is going to be about what I saw in the presentation, interesting details from the designers in the interview, and little things that you probably can't see from the official images, though again, I'm not sure because they're not out yet. Before I get started though, I want to give a real quick thank you to a couple of people. First, my biggest thanks is to David from MezzBrix. You guys may know him, pretty big LEGO Star Wars YouTuber. But I have a whole story I could tell, I'm not going to get into it here because I want to focus on the sets. But there was a mix-up and I wasn't slated for a Ninjago interview, but he was, and he was kind enough to let me come along for his Ninjago interview, and I could not be more grateful for that. Second, I want to give a thank you to Duckbricks, who a lot of you guys also probably know, another LEGO and Ninjago YouTuber. He was also in the room and did this interview with me, and we shared the images that we got with each other, so some of the pictures you've seen in this video will have been taken by him, others will have been taken by me, so thank you very much to him for sharing that. And then finally, of course, thank you to the Ninjago designers who were here giving this presentation, because it was an amazing time, just a great experience. And it was two designers. First, Nick Slogmont, who a lot of you guys probably know. He's been doing Ninjago stuff for forever, and he's also done stuff in other LEGO themes. But I think a lot of you probably know him. He does a lot of the big Ninjago mechs. He did the Legacy Zane's Titan mech, most recently I think the Crystallized Samurai X mech, and a ton of other sets over the years. Really amazing designer. Here's the one heading the presentation. And then the other designer was Chi-Wing Lee, who's a newer designer who I believe started with this year's Core Wave, but all the sets he's made so far have been really fantastic, so it was really great getting to meet him too. So now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about these sets. So of course, this wave of sets really focuses on mechs. I think there's a total of 4 of them, right? We have the Kai mech right here, this is a side build in that set, but then we also have the Cole mech, the Sora mech, and of course the Lloyd mech. I believe there is more sets than just that, however this is all that was there in the presentation, but if others were revealed again, that will be in my other video, which hopefully comes out before this one. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of mechs, which a lot of people I know may not be excited for. Personally, I love mechs, I think they're very cool. However, even if you're not excited for this, I want you to consider this, because there's a really cool aspect to these mechs, because they are actually modular. They're meant to be taken apart and combined and rearranged, so that way you can swap the legs out, the arms out, and then the torso is detached at the hips, so you can use the hips from one mech on the torso of another mech. For example, here's the Cole mech taken apart with the hips and the legs taken off. You could see it uses one of these rigid Technic joints, but that's actually an all new part. It's connected into a system brick, so it's held in place. That is a super useful part, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where else that could be used. But even just in the context of these sets, that's amazing. And I absolutely love the concept. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us mixed and matched during the presentation, but I'm very much looking forward to doing that in my reviews and everything. These new mechs also build upon the SCCBS building system. Those are the family of parts that were introduced in the very first core wave that were used on the mechs and the dragons and everything else. And previously, I think there was only 3 parts in this family, right? There was the cockpit piece, the armor piece, and then the joint piece. But this wave first introduces a new part to that family, this little bit on the knees right here. This is just a newer, bulkier armor piece. But then we also have some all-new recolors for some of the older parts too. For example, you can see the Cole mech uses that cockpit piece in black, which is so useful. I've really wanted that part in that color, and I'm very happy to be getting that. And then also the Wolf mech, which is a side build in the Kai mech set, that uses that cockpit piece in dark blue instead. Another really useful color. I'm sorry that this picture is so blurry, but the Kai mech also uses the SCCBS joint pieces, but in bright orange, which is another amazing recolor for that part. And then you can see Eagle, the Master Dragon right here, has the classic SCCBS armor pieces in black. Another really great part. While we're here, let's talk about Eagle. He's got this really cool feature where you can attach a sword on this clip right here, and it's this larger sword. I don't know if I have any pictures of it. Yeah, there you go. He's got the sword attached to his back. But that could be detached and attached to this clip in his tail right here, so that way he can actually fight with it. I unfortunately don't have a great picture of that, but you can see it a little bit back here. Eagle, by the way, is a new character who's going to serve as a mentor in the show. I think that's a really neat idea, a dragon serving in this mentorship role. Not something we've seen before from Ninjago, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I just think the dragon with the conical hat is such a funny concept. This is just such a cool set. Also, yeah, you can see this is expanding upon the newer dragon head building system. I believe the bottom jaw is just the one from the J Evo Dragon, but in white. Not positive on that though. However, that top jaw is definitely all new and it has the little mustache. This is a side build in the Eagle the Master Dragon set, and it's called the Gong of Shattering. and this is actually going to be lore relevant. It's what Roz uses to command his army. Okay, while I was in the middle of filming this video, the official pictures did come out, so now I know what's been shown, so I can talk about these with more confidence that I won't be repeating myself. Anyway, let me give you some fun details about these sets that I learned during my interview. For one, the Cole mech, they intentionally tried to give it his lava arms like we see in the show, so they used all these trans orange pieces, which I think look amazing. I especially love like the rock parts on the end. I think that was communicated so well, and they did a fantastic job with that. Also, kind of interestingly, Cole's stone form in the show was actually based off an early version of this mech, like the stone form that we see in Season 1 of Dragon's Rising. Obviously, it's not exactly the same because that's just like a stone golem and this is an actual mech, but the shape of his stone form in the show was based off an early version of this set, which is really neat. I talked about the dragon sword in his tail, I believe. Oh, the wolf mech. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool. This wolf mech is actually not an entirely original design for this wave. Now, this has never been an official LEGO set before, but Nick explained that this was based off one of his old sketch models for LEGO Nexo Knights, which of course that theme ended years ago, but when you're a LEGO designer, there's lots of things you design that just never get turned into sets. So actually, a little while ago, Nick posted that Nexo Knights sketch model to his Twitter, and I'll show you it right here. You can see there's a lot of similarities between it and the new wolf mech, so it's quite cool to see it found a new life in Ninjago. And I think now we can probably move on to the minifigures so I can show you the details of them up close. So first, let me talk about this new character, Cinder. Obviously, he's a part of Roz's army, but something you probably couldn't tell from official images is he is the new Master of Smoke. You can see he does have like the smoky effect around his face, and his face print is actually a transparent head. This is the alternate face where the smoke's sort of covering his mouth, and here's a look at the front face print up a little bit closer. Now, we did ask, like, hey, what happened to Ash? Because the original Master of Smoke still exists, right? And they weren't able to answer that question for us. All we know is his name is Cinder, and he's the Master of Smoke. So maybe this is Ash going by a new name, maybe this is someone related to Ash, like a son or something, or maybe this is like a Wildfire and Kai situation, and he's the Master of Smoke, but it's different than Ash's smoke. Not entirely sure yet, but very cool to see a new Elemental Master who's actually against the ninja instead of on their team, because yeah, in case it's not clear, he has Raz's armor on. Here are just the generic runs of the wave, and yes, these wolf masks are masks. They just have standard minifigure heads underneath, so here's one of the facial expressions. And here's the other one. You can see he's just got like these silver fangs. Here's an up-close look at the Cinder minifigure, and there's another one of those wolf characters from the back. There's the back torso print as well. Now, of course, we got these all-new mech suits for the ninja, including Cole, and yes, Cole does have leg printing. And I do really like these new hood pieces. They fit with like the original ZX armor, which is cool to see. It doesn't hang down the back. Definitely looking forward to getting those in hand. And yes, these suits are called the mech suits. And what I believe that means is the Season 1 Dragon's Rising suits will still be in the show. These are just their suits specifically for when they're in their mechs. That, I think, is a really cool concept. It kind of reminds me of the DX suits from the original wave, because that was their suit when they're on their dragons. This is their suit when they're in their mechs. The designers also mentioned they wanted to make sure every character had a suit. They didn't want anyone to be left out. So even though Zane is the only ninja who doesn't get a mech this wave, he still does get a mech suit. Now, Aaron and Sora don't technically get mech suits. Aaron kinda does. He has a new hood, but it's just the same torso and leg piece. And you saw that the Sora earlier was just the same figure with the hairpiece and the half mask. Here's an up-close look at Jordana, by the way. I know it's at like an angle, but we do have official pictures of her now. She had orange hair in the presentation, but they mentioned that she'd be getting magenta hair, and we saw in the official pictures that yes, she does have magenta hair. Here's an up-close look at the Lloyd minifigure, as well as the Nia minifigure, both of them in their mech suits, and you can see they still have their Dragon's Rising faces underneath. I love that the red's continuing on Nia too. That works so well. And I think that's about all I have to show you for this video, at least for now. Overall, I am very excited for this wave. It was so much fun just to fool around with these. But let me know what you guys think of all this in the comments below. I know these were all still images and not any video, and there is a reason behind that. I mean, I guess you guys could probably see this big black square right here. Can't talk about it exactly yet, but I'll be able to talk about it when I can talk about it. But basically what I'm saying is there will be more content to come in the future. If you missed my full video covering the reveal of these sets, I'll put a link in the pinned comment. I gave you some more of my thoughts there, and I'm sure I'll have more to say about them very soon. But yeah, I just wanted to share what I learned from my interview. As for this video though, I think that's about all I have to say. So thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!